Good morning. How are you? A little overcast here, just like our nation's weather, if you will. And the Trump says he's not going to leave office, and he's just going to continue being in office. And everybody's up in arms about that, and they should be, because this guy is a rogue, and he does seem to be out of control. There's an Atlantic article that a bunch of people asked me what I think about it. I think it's fairly dystopic. Is it impossible? I suppose anything is possible. But here are a couple of points. The article makes a big deal out of whether or not the president will concede to Biden should he lose. Okay, that's not important, frankly. Think about it. In sports, if you run a foot race, do you have to concede that your time was inferior? No, the time is set. Basketball games, you name it. And politics is no different. Years ago, I supported Liz Holtzman, who was running for the U.S. Senate against D'Amato, the incumbent, and she lost. She never, to this day, she hasn't conceded the election. The numbers are what determines who won the election, not whether someone decides to say, oh yes, you won. I thought that Gore, frankly, when he conceded the election, that was one of his finest speeches. It was like he wanted to concede the election. Sorry to those who were Gore supporters, but that's how I felt about it. Going on, they talk about electors, meaning that somehow or other Trump would convince people to be popular electors for him, no matter what the voters wanted. And yes, that's wrong and unethical. It's also illegal. In most states, there is a rule that the electors are kind of a pro forma position. They have to vote as the voters voted. They don't have an independent vote. And there was a Supreme Court recently that said that. And maybe not every state has it, but that is the law. So in those states that have that, if Trump were to try that kind of a number on the state, they would go into court and say you can't do that, and cite the Supreme Court case that said as much. But what else can we do besides wring our hands? And this is the thing that infuriates me. I heard Cory Booker this morning, and he's just talking. No ideas about what to do. At the very least, you would think Congress would do the one thing they do all the time, which is hold a hearing, invite the FBI director, not anybody else from the administration, and put them in a position of saying, no, we're not coming, but leading election lawyers, representatives from the state, the various state AGs and so forth. John Conyers used to do this all the time to good political effect. And legislation may or may not come out of it, but it puts everybody at odds with the president for having such a hearing. Now, stronger than that, there are two avenues that I favor. One is impeaching the president, because you can also bar him from holding office again. Yes, the Republicans may vote the wrong way, and that can be an issue in the campaign. And the charges against the president and the vice president involve not the election alone, but especially how he mishandled the pandemic. Also, I think we have to have Barr. We have to impeach him for ignoring the law and for assisting the president in suppressing the vote. Some say, oh, well, do we have the time for that? Do we have time to do anything else? What else is important? And finally, the individual states, in my opinion, can prosecute crimes against Trump and anybody else. And those who say the Constitution bars a prosecution of the president, it does not. The Justice Department would like that, but former special counsel have said you can prosecute the president. So there's a menu of things people can agree or disagree with, but doing nothing, sitting on your hands, is not acceptable. So if you voted, congratulations, get somebody else to vote. If you haven't voted, figure it out, because it's one way to beat the Orange Menace in the West Wing. All the best. Have a good day. Bye-bye.